Hi all. So in this video, I would like to focus on the content for this week, for week one, and also some additional housekeeping stuff to keep in mind. So housekeeping stuff first. Let's look ahead briefly to the simulation that you'll be doing in week four. This is an unusual component of our online courses, and I believe 644 is the only one that has something like this, as far as I know. So I typically get a lot of questions. What is it? What do we do? What's the format? Blah, blah, blah. So all of that is in the syllabus. But here's a little bit of insight. The simulation is basically an online project, and you'll purchase a license to the software. You'll get access into the software, and it will present you with this whole bunch of project related information. It will give you a scenario in which you are the project manager. It will provide you with budget, schedule, resource, quality information, and based on the information, including documents and data that you will have to review, you will be expected to make decisions at various points in the project lifecycle. And based on the decisions you make, you will earn points. So there are obviously what the system thinks are better decisions than others. So if you make the stronger decisions, then you're obviously going to get more points. So that's basically what the simulation is. And sort of again, a quirky part of it is that it's a group project. So in week three, you will get access to sign up groups, to form groups within our section, and you will be working on the simulation together. So what does that mean? Well, so when week four opens, you will be able to run the simulation as a group. And in the past, my students have gone about it one of two ways. Either you can all log in to the simulation at the same time in real time. So you're on FaceTime, you're on Skype, you're connected somewhere synchronously, and you go through the project while you're on the phone or FaceTiming or what have you. It is long. It does take a few hours. So I would expect if you're going to do it synchronously to allow for more than one phone conversation. And that's perfectly fine. You can pause the software, it will save where you left off, and you can just pick it up next time. So that's one way to do it. The other, of course, is asynchronously, which is you all do it separately on your own time. So let's say there's four people in my group. We all run the simulation, which means each of us could be making different decisions. And that's okay. Or we say, okay, everybody has to be at the first stage gate by X date. And, when you're all there, then you all, get on the phone real quick and say like, okay, what decision are we going to make as a team? So there's a couple different ways you could go about it. No one way is right or wrong. It's just whatever you all can do as a group. And I think that's enough for now on the simulation. Again, it's not till week four, so we have some time. I just want to give you a heads up so that you can start thinking about who you want to be in a group with, a group of roughly three or four, and just again, so you know what's coming. So we'll talk about the simulation more as we get closer to it. The other thing, oh, well, that's it for housekeeping. The other main topic is this week's assignment, which is called the pretty chart, which is basically just taking raw data and presenting it somehow. So note that there is no cost estimate required. Just take what's there, just take the data that's given to you and sift through it. Play with it in Excel, play with different types of charts and graphs, and from there, try to glean what you think is important for a consumer of that data to see and to know. So I would say, use your best practices of design. So use color for interest to make certain data points pop. Draw the reader's eye using different visual techniques so that the reader can consume the information relatively quickly and can take what they need to know from it without having to sift through a lot of extraneous detail. Um, Consider the audience very carefully. Make sure that the presentation is broadly consumable. In other words, don't assume that the person who's going to pick up that chart is a subject matter expert in the weeds. Let's say it's a high level executive who is familiar with the data or familiar with the scenario, but may not be in the weeds like somebody else may be. So think about that. Um, n- Also provide some discussion in your write-up about the key data points or the trends. So yeah, again, don't just give me a chart. Be like, all right, here. No, you need to do a write-up and talk about it a little bit. And along those lines, notice that it says that APA format is required. So make sure that you apply your APA format to the written portion, including an abstract, having references. It's not a long write-up, but each of these little write-ups that you'll do throughout the course is good practice for APA, which will be required for your final paper. So do think about that and do your best to take the APA seriously. If you have sort of been kind of on APA in previous courses, now is your chance to pick it up. So I think that's about it. Good luck and let me know if you have any questions.